The following is an exclusive presentation of Raycom Sports and Jefferson Pilot Sports.
Yes, the Cavages, Booth, Profit, players who have propelled the surprising Maryland Terrapins to a #7 national ranking. The Duke Blue Devils, behind the names Langdon, Newton, and Wojciechowski, have climbed to a #10 national ranking. The stage is set. The tip-off near. Sit back and enjoy as the ACC stars shine on Super Bowl Sunday. Duke and Maryland coming up next. It's one of the great old buildings in the country for big-time college basketball. And it's got some matchup here this afternoon. Ranked #10 in the country, the Blue Devils of Duke. #7 in the nation, the Terrapins of the University of Maryland. You look at the ACC standings, there are 3 bunched at the top. The Blue Devils of Duke are trying to get there. All 4 in the top 10 in the nation. And hello again, everybody. I'm Tim Brand along with Gil McGregor. Glad to have you along on this Super Sunday. And this matchup, it almost has the feel of March Madness.
Oh, this is a great game for basketball. It has ACC implications, obviously, but this game has national implications. Both of these clubs in the top 10 couldn't get any better in the ACC.
You look at the makeup of these two teams, they are very similar. 3-guard attacks, but how do they match up?
Well, they match up a little differently in that Duke likes to score from outside. They shoot the 3. 37% of their attempts and 33% of their makes are from the 3-point line. That is what they want to do to win. Maryland, though, wants to run up and down the court. They want to get in the transition game. They want to force the turnovers, and they need to get points off of those turnovers.
It is a sold-out arena here in College Park, Maryland. It should be fun this afternoon. Maryland, 16-2. Duke, 15-4.
ACC Basketball is brought to you by Pepsi, by Nations Bank, by Ford, by Bell South, by Budweiser, and by Food Lion.
Duke comes in with a record of 4-2 in the conference. Maryland 5-1 in the conference, and we're in Cole Fieldhouse. It is sold out. The starting lineups for today's game. First for the Blue Devils of Duke. Steve Wojciechowski is the guy that really makes this thing run, but they're going to start Carmen Wallace today instead of Price. So it'll be Wallace, McLeod, Newton, Langdon, and Wojo, of course, as we said, runs the show. Mike Krzyzewski, the head coach. Now, if you look at the Maryland starting lineup, they've been fairly consistent with this, with Profit and Booth, the forwards, Akizi, the big center at 6'10", and Stokes and Jesse Cavage is outside. Stokes is the floor leader, and Gary Williams is the head coach. We've got the tip-up coming your way. We'll be back after this message from Budweiser. Head coach Mike Krzyzewski really seems to like this ball club. He plays a lot of guys, the winningest all-time coach at Duke. And he's done one of his best recruiting jobs. Got some great ones coming in to join these. This place is sold out, and it is loud this afternoon. Gary Williams, the head coach of the Maryland Terrapins, and I think he's doing one of his best coaching jobs ever with this club. Picked 8th preseason, Atlantic Coast Conference, and now he's 5-1. Duke leads the series 85-50, but Maryland has won 3 of the last 5, including the last meeting, which Maryland won 82-69 in the ACC tournament. The officials for this game, Rick Hartzell, Zelton Steve, Bob Donato. We're set to go. Maryland in white, Duke in black. And Maryland controls the opening tip.
You know, Tim, it's going to be an interesting game because the Blue Devils have come in here and won 10 out of the last 11 times they played in Cole Fieldhouse. So that might be a monkey that the Terps have to get off their back.
Over to Akizi. Back to Booth. Yes, the Cavage is left alone for 3. That was an NBA 3.
Well, he's taken off where he's left off the last several games, and Duke wants to force Maryland into half-court basketball. And yes, the Cavage certainly shows that he can play that too.
3-0 Maryland. Terrapins in man-to-man defense. Off the back of the rim. He tries to pull the board, and immediately he is fouled by Carmen Wallace. That'll be the first on Wallace.
Maryland's very happy to open the basketball game this way. A good look, as you say, from a very deep three, and nothing but the twine. Now Duke is turning the tables a bit on Maryland. They're starting with a little pressure on the ball. And Duke, in its black uniforms, they're 2-0. They don't wear these uniforms that often.
Inside to go to Ikeze, and Stokes throws it away, hits the side of the backboard.
Now, we talk about turnovers as you look at that hairstyle for Greg Newton. It's aerodynamic. Now, his rebounding has increased since he's gotten his head shaved. He's getting 11 a game in the last 3.
Now, I was told he shaved that head again this morning. That could become irritated.
Duke is going to be patient and look for the 3.
Wojo short with his shot. And last touch by Wallace. Maryland basketball.
Now, Wallace is in the ballgame because he's a good offensive rebounder. Maryland has 4 rebounders with 100 or more rebounds this season. Duke only has 1. So that has something to do with why the lineup was changed.
Wojciechowski had a pretty easy time defending Oshawa Benjamin Tuesday night at NC State. Maybe a little bit more difficult against Terrell Stokes, more his size and quickness. Maryland turns it over. That's the second turnover for Maryland.
And Maryland has to create the turnovers and not make them. But you know, this is a game of skill and of will, and let's see which team can impose the will on the other.
Wojciechowski only took 1 shot Tuesday night down in Raleigh, North Carolina. Here's McLeod with a good pump fake, drives the lane and has it blocked. McLeod banks it in.
McLeod is a transfer from St. John's and got a late start in terms of getting accustomed to this club, but he's been playing some really good basketball. Not the great name if you think about Duke players, but he's a very steady player.
Ikeze has his shot blocked. Langdon comes up with it, and Wojo wants to run. 3-2 Maryland, 17:45 to go first half. This ball partially touched and then drained. Oh, what a shot by Wallace for 3.
A long shot with lots of arc. A rainbow shot.
Carmen Wallace, 6'6" senior out of Wilmington, Delaware.
This is what Duke wants. They want to force Maryland to play half court. They got a zone thrown up against Maryland and trying to play one-on-one with Booth down low.
Blue Devils by 2. Stokes beyond the arc. Yes!
If you make the threes, as Maryland just has, it'll make Duke rethink the defense.
6-5 Maryland. Wojo too hard again. This is a block from Wojciechowski.
You know, and Wojciechowski saved a basket by getting that foul. The long rebound from the missed 3 made it possible for Maryland to get in a fast break. Wojciechowski getting the foul stopped the break. 3-point proficiency for Duke, almost 8 made the game. That's 24 points they just about get from shooting a 3. That's some kind of ratio scoring.
Wallace has already hit 1 for Duke. Maryland 2 for 2 beyond the arc. 6'5 Terrapins. Booth with his first touch and first shot. It's good.
Keith had been trying to post up down low, so he comes out on the wing to get his first shot. He's such a versatile player. He can play all over the court.
Terrapins, like they did against Wake Forest, starting with a hot hand. 3 for 4 from the field. Both these clubs extremely confident, and McLeod walks. Turnover, number 1 for Duke.
First the turnover, and you want to see if the half-court offense can produce points. Pressure on the ball forces a shuffle of the feet. This is not necessarily the kind of turnover that Maryland likes, though. They like to get the turnover on the steal so they can get into transition. This is not a transition turnover, but it reverses the possession of the ball anyway.
Price into the ball game for Duke now. He's guarding Stokes. Inside to Ikeze. Ikeze loses the handle. Carrawell on him, and now Maryland turns it over again. Capel, Chappelle, James, Carrawell, all in for Duke.
And Duke has a small team on the court, but a quick, good ball handling club on the court. They've set Newton down.
Mike Krzyzewski goes deep on his bench. 10 players We're in the ball game with significant minutes in Raleigh on Tuesday night. This ball kicked, no call. Nice pass to Prophet. He mishandles it.
All right, guys are nervous. Everybody's so anxious to make the good play. In fact, they're a little over-anxious.
Outside to Chappelle. And the walk by James. Emotions very high in Cole Fieldhouse right now. 15:34 to play first half. Maryland 8, Duke 5. Conference basketball on Raycom Sports and Jefferson Pilot Sports proud to present today's ball game. Two top 10 teams. The Maryland Terrapins ranked 7th. The Duke Blue Devils ranked 10th. 15:34 to go first half. Maryland leads by 3, 8-5.
Well, we talked about the turnovers being important. Duke has 5 turnovers in 8 possessions, but Maryland has 0 points off turnovers. And we said the points off turnovers is really what's going to count.
Talked about Duke's deep bench. Capel, Chappelle, Price, James, and Carrawell on the floor right now. Booth in the paint. Gives it up to Akizi, and he is fouled.
The thing about Carrawell that's in there now, he had a shoulder brace on all year as you look at him. This is the first game that he's tried to play without that shoulder brace. He's got a dislocated shoulder that pops in and pops out. He's going to be operated on at the end of the season, but today, such a big game, he's going without the brace.
Foul was on Price. Yasikavich is falling away. Not a great shot. And the foul on Booth.
Keith trying to get position because he probably saw that it wasn't a great shot. Knowing that it would come off in a rebound, he tried to position himself to get the board and gets the foul instead. Not the pressure on the Duke ball handlers as much as we thought we'd see.
Carrawell blocked by Akizi.
Nice defensive play.
Inside the Booth, and he's fouled by Capel. Stokes saw the mismatch, went to Booth, who is 6'5", working against 6'3.5" Capel, and the foul.
But Booth has worked inside pretty good early in this ball game. Didn't get it a couple times. Went out on the wing to get it, but they're going to go inside to him when they can, and they should.
4th team foul against Duke. Here's Booth with a little reverse. Yasikavich gets it back, out of rhythm, but shoots anyway. And Carrawell out of bounds.
Well, you have a Maryland team that's getting a lot of opportunities off the turnover. They're getting the shots, but they're just a little out of sync because I think that the adrenaline hasn't leveled off yet in this ball game.
Prophet had a look. Good defense by Chappelle. Prophet takes it too far underneath. Good defensive ball clip, the Blue Devils.
Playing perimeter pass, and they want the jump shot.
Terrapins by 3. Capel with a shot off balance. Looking for the roll. Fight for the board. Last touch by Akizi.
And you wonder if all of the substitutions and the switching makes it difficult for Duke to get a chemistry or an identity, but it certainly makes it difficult to match up with your Maryland.
Rodney Elliott gets a big round of applause as he comes into the game. He hit double-figure scoring in more than half the games he's played in and had 22 points against Penn the other night. This is James. That's for 2.
Jump shots by Duke, and Rodney Elliott had 9 straight made baskets in that game before missing one at Penn.
Elliott and Booth playing in front of their home folks. The game was played in Baltimore, where they grew up, played high school ball for Dunbar.
I mean, you played basketball. I don't know if you can get out on the court by yourself and make 9 straight without anybody playing against you. I can't.
14 minutes, 10 seconds to go first half. Tim Brandt and Gil McGregor with you at Cole Fieldhouse. Yasikavich is again too hard.
Off balance, he's falling away on his jump shot. Duke's keeping their composure.
Yasikavich is just 1 for 4. Price held by Booth, and that is 2 quick ones on Keith Booth, the All-American and Wooden candidate.
Now that becomes a serious situation to Gary Williams, because do you let him play and get number 3 when you have to sit him? And out on the baseline, out on the wing, you can't touch. And it's not a great hard foul, but it is a correct call. You cannot put your hand and touch on the wing.
Some of the fans here getting after the officials, saying you got to protect All-Americans like you do with Duncan down at Wake. Oh, nice penetration, and this foul is going to be called on Elliott.
Oh, why you go there? I mean, there are the All-Americans in the conference. You see the drive, you take it hard to the basket, and good things happen for you when you play basketball. You force the issue when you've got the ball in your hand.
So Chappelle goes to the line. He's hit 10 of his 24 free throws this year. That has been a weakness in his game, but he drills this one.
And as you mentioned to me, the line becomes a very important part of this ball game. Duke very proficient from the line, and sometimes Maryland isn't.
Duke by 1, their second lead of the game.
And again, this is a Duke pace. They are forcing Maryland to play half-court basketball on offense.
Booth with the penetration and the lay-in, and he's fouled. His foul against Capel.
That was a sweet move by Keith Booth. He is showing why he's his team leader. You'll see him as he takes it in, avoid the contact, nice kiss off the glass, but even going out to catch it to prepare himself for the drive, it's a very fine offensive move by Keith Booth.
Second personal on Capel. Matt Kabar comes in for the Maryland Terrapins. Laurent Prophet comes back in as well as Stokes and Yesikavicius go out. Newton comes back in for Duke. Carrawell goes out, and Trajan Langdon comes in as Chappelle goes out. Keith Booth at the line. He's a 70% free throw shooter.
And as he goes today, this ball game is going to go. His team counts on him to lead them, not just in scoring, but in the way they play. And here's the pressure. Usually it happens after a made foul shot, but this lost out of bounds. Now Maryland can put the half-court pressure on.
Booth with the steal.
And it pays off right away.
Kavar, and he's fouled by Wojciechowski. That's 2 on Wojciechowski.
That becomes just as big as the second one on Booth.
Let's say this about Matt Kavar. He has given Maryland some quality minutes this year. Only 10 turnovers in 10 games. He puts it on the floor, now kicks it back out to Elliott, who fires from beyond the arc. Tipped by Booth, and followed by Booth.
He's got to put him on his back. He's trying to do it. Now Duke's playing a little faster, I think, than they want to play.
Price. Oh, is he sweet.
Well, Maryland fans remember what he did here last year. Made the shot. Not a shot, but the shot.
Falling out of bounds in front of the Duke bench as the buzzer.
Nice move.
Easy
nice move. Tim, that's called an up and under. You fake up and step under. That's a good big-time move.
Maryland by 3. Trajan Langdon. Ahead to Booth. To Prophet. Prophet struggling early in this ball game.
Just a little out of sync, but he seems to start slowly lots of games for Maryland.
Nate James to Newton. Nice pass, nice play. Newton's first basket.
James takes the baseline, and in basketball, all you young players, if you ever give up the baseline to a ball handler, you put your team in trouble.
Laurent Prophet 0 for 3, takes it on the baseline, and now gets back out to Kavar. Booth trying to take charge and does. Good looking Duke ball club, so deep, very talented. Booth with the penetration.
Maryland's fortunate that Kavar didn't get a foul trying to reach in and steal that ball.
Here's Price again. Had a notion, now gets it back inside of Newton. Newton on Akese. Newton gets it back once, twice, and finally fouled by Akese.
Akese makes a good play first, but didn't get the rebound, and give Greg Newton, a lot of credit by just continuing to play. It's a good defense right there by Akese. You force the miss, but Newton still stays after it. One time, miss, and another time, up and in. Gets the foul. You just got to keep playing hard. That's what he did.
Every time James comes into the ball game or leaves for Duke, he gets a rounding boo from the crowd. He contemplated here. He was recruited heavily here. Selected Duke, he said, because of Mike Krzyzewski. You can't go wrong with the selection, but here there's still some soreness.
Well, one time a year, he's going to be reminded that maybe he made the wrong decision, at least in the mind of the Terrapin fans.
Newton misses again.
Really working hard to play the boards. They're really concerned about rebounding against Maryland.
Newton shot for 2. Tied at 14. Shot clock has not been a factor. Timeout called by the officials. Rick Hartzell saw something. Looks like there might be blood on his leg. So with blood on his leg, 11:01 to play first half. They'll stop the game. We're tied at 14. We'll be back after this message from Budweiser. Players have had 10 guys in the ball game. Mike Krzyzewski's going 10 deep. Maryland just 7 deep. That could be a factor later. It's very warm in Cole Fieldhouse, and it's an up-tempo game. Tied at 14.
And one of the concerns for the Duke team was the rebounding, but they are leading Maryland 13-9, and Duke has 6 offensive rebounds to only 4 for Maryland, and I think the substitutions may actually help Duke to have winning this board battle.
Profit in the paint, kicks it out to Elliott, who has a look. Back inside they go to Profit. He can't get the roll, and Elliott over the back.
We've seen Ron Profit start slowly for Maryland in other games. He comes on strong before it's over as Elliott gets that foul. But you need Profit's offense if you're Maryland.
That'll be 2 personals on Rodney Elliott. Keith Booth has 2 as well.
It's a little full court zone trapping by Maryland. Did it work?
Duke turns it over.
Maryland's causing the turnovers, which is what they wanted to do, Tim, but they're not getting any point production after causing the turnover.
Mishandled by Jasikevičius. Ikizi, oh, nice spin move. And couldn't get the shot to go down.
Good look inside, a good turn. Got to finish.
Maryland ice cold. Here's Wojciechowski, has a look. Gives it back to Langdon, he pulls the trigger. Neither team really shooting well.
Well, I think that they still have to establish what they have to do.
Nice pass to Elliott.
Well, that's the shot you can make. Man. Maryland got the break going. Not clearly a fast break, but a good secondary break. Up-tempo.
Profit to Elliott for the high percentage shot. Gives Maryland a 2-point lead. Jasikevičius with a rebound.
Maryland wants to get out quickly.
Maryland moving the ball a little bit better now, but Profit still not even close. Ron Profit's 0 for 5.
Maryland probably likes it when Newton plays out on the wing.
McLeod's shot goes halfway down, comes back out.
Nobody's knocking the bottom out of it, that's for sure. Maryland really wants to get it inside. They're looking down low for Ikizi. They look for Elliott down low. They try to post Booth up.
Duke has missed its last 6 shots.
And still in the game because Maryland hasn't taken full advantage of that.
Inside Ikizi, double teamed, has to look back out. Shot clock down to 5 now. To Elliott. And Elliott with the follow is fouled by McLeod.
Well, it's obvious the different philosophies of the teams, particularly today. Maryland wants inside as many times as they can. They may get inside, and they're making the extra pass on the Maryland Terrapins, getting it down low, not necessarily converting, but forcing Duke to make a decision inside. Good work on the basket. Good way to draw a foul.
That's the first on McLeod, the 17th foul. So Elliott at the line shooting 1-and-1.
Ikizi on the bench, but in getting encouragement from his coach, and you're making a great move, you must convert.
Very, very small lineup for Maryland now. With Profit, Jasikevičius, Stokes, Elliott, and Booth.
Well, what happened, Newton goes back and sits down, so Duke gets a lot smaller also. Gary Williams figures he can go small with Newton on the bench.
Elliott knocks down the second one, and it's 17-14 Maryland. 8.5 to play first half.
Pressure's on the ball.
Wojo pushes it up to Capel. Looked like he had the left side, brings it back out and resets.
Duke wants that jump shot. They got a bunch of jump shooters on the court right now.
Wojo has been afraid or hesitating to pull the trigger. Boy, I'll tell you, McLeod's not afraid. He can bottom it. That's for 3. We're tied at 17.
When you talk about Duke, you talk about their players. McLeod's not a name you mentioned that prominently. He's a prominent player.
He has 5 points. To Profit. Has this one blocked. He's 0 for 6.
Tough day.
Booth. Iron.
Neither team can get into a shooting rhythm.
Duke with a chance to take the lead. And they do. Nice penetration inside by McLeod. He has 7 points. And the Blue Devils lead by 2.
And we talked about him earlier, saying that this is a guy that's such a steady player. He's been the best player for Duke so far.
Duke is tenacious defensively. Nice pass to Cabbages.
Great pass, but it's difficult when you go big to small inside.
Capel. And Booth comes down with it.
What a pace.
3-on-1 Maryland. Cabbages to Elliott.
Duke didn't get back quickly at all that time, Tim.
And we're tied again at 19. Fifth tie of the ball game.
There's the pressure again.
Surprisingly, guys getting the points. Elliott for Maryland with 5. McLeod for Duke with 5. Here's Langdon. Yes.
That's what you expect. Those are the scores. That's who you will expect. But
I think we're going to see the pace slow down a little bit here, Gil.
I think it's going to have to.
Yeah, guys' jaws are starting to hang a little bit.
It's going to have to. You talked about the heat.
Elliott follows again.
His pace isn't slowing down.
Coming off a great performance Tuesday night against Penn. Picking up where he left off with 7 quick points.
But Gary still's got guys pressing, though.
Carrawell has it blocked.
What a play.
Maryland has numbers again to Elliott. Or to Booth, correction. And Duke steps out of bounds.
What a tough angle to catch and put that in.
We'll be back. Tied at 21, the 6th tie of the game with 5:48 to play in the first half.
This is what Maryland wants to do. They want to open up the court. They want to get Duke in a running game. They feel they're a better transition team, and they like to finish that way. Finishing that way gets the crowd in it. It gets Duke a little down. And Duke, if they can, they want to slow Maryland down and make them play half court.
Gil, I've talked about it so much. How much of a factor is it, do you think, that Coach K goes so far down his bench?
Well, I think if you can go down your bench and don't lose anything towards the end of the ballgame, you're going to have some fresh legs. Makes it difficult sometimes to understand who you're playing with, though, because guys like to get used to each other. You know your tendencies of your teammate, and for one guy to learn 11 tendencies is a little more difficult than for one guy to learn 6.
You know, every time Profit touches the ball today, something bad has happened. He's missed shots, he's turned it over, he's gotten doubled down on, and here's a nice pass to Carrawell, who banks it in.
Well, in reading the press clippings about Maryland, Profit starts slowly lots of times for the Terrapins, but the second half seems to be his half.
Duke has its largest lead of the afternoon. 23-21. Booth loses it out of bounds. Another turnover for the Terrapins. And for Maryland, that's 7 turnovers.
Duke turning the tables just a bit. They want to steal the ball, too. And once they steal it, you make it count. Transition basketball for Duke, and it's a nice play, good score.
Elliott goes out of the game. McKeezy back in for Maryland.
A little more pressure on the ball.
Oh, nice penetration by Capel. He's the guy that made that play work. Capel made it work, although James got the points.
Talk about Capel having to come off the bench. or deciding to come off the bench, he's certainly the best one that can play off the bench for Duke.
Our call of the week comes from last Sunday's Maryland-Wake Forest game. Jerry Braswell's shot gets partially deflected by Maryland guard Terrell Stokes. Now watch the break after this. The deflection, the outlet. Left side to Cabbages, back to Profit, who uses the wing. That's our call of the week by Bell South.
The last two Duke baskets have come off of Maryland turnovers, and that's reversing roles. Maryland was hoping to score off the Duke turnover. 6 Duke points off turnovers. It's only 2 for Maryland.
25-21 Duke. Profit goes to the baseline. Running one-hander, tough shot. He scores his first bucket.
And here's Maryland with the pressure, 3/4 of court. Cable played point guard as a freshman, so he can handle.
Price hits the front of the rim. The shot clock in the top of the backboard, out of bounds.
Profit making that jump shot, making that little floater, may signal that he's off the slide now, and Maryland needs some scoring from somebody other than Booth, or a threat from somebody other than Booth.
Well, Profit plays with a lot of confidence, even when he's not on.
Shooters have to do that, you know. You can't make it if you don't shoot.
Dangerous pass inside the Booth, and he is fouled by James.
Insisting upon going down low is Maryland.
For Nate James, that'll be his first. The Nation Bank, corporate partner of the Atlantic Coast Conference, presents this ACC Salute to Excellence question. Which team holds the record for most games won in a season? We'll have the answer for you coming up.
That foul line is going to have to start to pay dividends for Maryland. They're getting there often here in the first half, but they have not been as proficient as they need to be. Duke's got so many players that they can afford to foul over and over again.
Booth makes the first one. He now has 7 points, 5 rebounds. Newton back in the ball game for Duke. Under 4 minutes to play, first half. Booth trying to tie the game. He can't get the roll. Newton with the rebound.
Duke's still looking for the jumper more than anything else. But they're 2 of 10 from 3 today.
Newton off his leg and throws it away. That's 6 turnovers now for Duke. Duke by 1. We'll be back after this message from CarQuest Auto Parts Stores. Maryland, 10th ranked Duke. It's been everything we expected to this point. 5 ties and 6 lead changes in the game thus far.
It's good news, bad news right now. Maryland holding Duke to 2 of 10 shooting. That's the good news, but the bad news is 2 of 10 because they shoot a lot better than it, almost 37% from three-point land. Maryland 2 of 6, that's not so bad for them.
McLeod leads Duke with 7 points. For Maryland, it's Booth and Elliott. Each have 7.
Zone being played by Duke, again, to slow Maryland's offense down, force them to play the half court.
Good penetration by Stokes. Kicks it out to Profit, who's left alone beyond the arc. Bottoms.
Made that little floater. Maybe he's ready now.
Good ball movement that time by the Terrapins.
Good patience.
Mike Krzyzewski wants a timeout. It's a 22nd. Just wants to make a quick adjustment. Nations Bank question of the week we gave you. Which team holds the ACC record for most games won in a season? And of course, you know how these go. It's got to be one of the games or one of the teams that's playing here today, and it is Duke. 1985-86 team, 37-3.
You talk about the adjustment will be and who releases to come back and help out. Capel's going to take it out of bounds, and usually that's the most dangerous guy because that guy will get it back.
Tough time getting it in. Now McLeod breaks long distance and takes it the distance.
Well, maybe that's the adjustment. Everybody's, and Gary Williams grabbing his head saying, guys, come on, you pressure the ball, but don't forget about the basket.
McLeod with 9 points. We're tied at 27, under 3 minutes to play in the first half. Super Sunday from Cole Fieldhouse in College Park, Maryland.
The intensity is here.
Profit wanted to go on him. You could see it. He does. And that's goaltending.
And a twisted ankle. Look at Newton. Newton's on the floor holding his left ankle. And I think it's hurt badly. He didn't move. Profit tries to take it inside, and Newton playing the computer game, access denied here, and maybe rolls his ankle over on Profit when he goes down, but he grabbed it immediately, his left foot.
Duke's had problems with their big guys. Taman Domzowski is still out with that knee problem, and Newton now goes out. The way he walked off, though, we're hoping it's not serious. Now's a great time to order Pizza Hut's new pepperoni pizza. Pizza Hut, making it great again and again.
And here comes the pressure again and again by Maryland.
LaRon Profit, after an 0-5 start, has now made his last 3 shots and has 7 points.
How quickly it changes for a shooter because they don't stop shooting.
Newton seems to be okay on the bench. They are not even working with him anymore. James from way outside, followed by McLeod. And Profit makes the catch and gets it back to Booth.
Maryland's running. Dangerous pass. Langdon was almost in position to intercept that.
They double down on Akese. Kick it out to Profit. This is for 3. And last touched by Duke.
Profit a little bit off on that shot. Probably just about a step or 2 out of his range. And Akese, once he'd gotten it down low early in the game, making some good moves, but he hasn't touched it since.
Profit shoots again. Iron.
Shooter's got to shoot. What can I say? Singer's got to sing. Shooter's got to shoot.
McLeod walks. There was nobody there when he looked for the pass.
And Duke looking so much for the perimeter. Both teams with 7 turnovers.
Maryland leads by 2. 1:48 to play in the first half. See if Maryland uses some clock here, Gil. Booth loses it. Took his eye off the ball, went right through his hands.
8th Maryland turnover. Trying to make the next play before you make the first play. He already knew what he wanted to do with it when he caught it, but he didn't catch it.
2 fairly young teams, though, and a game of this magnitude. Number 7 and number 10 in the nation. Certainly significant within the Atlantic Coast Conference. I think both teams came in a little bit tight.
Well, I'm sure. You know, this is a national game of significance, and so you have to think about that whether you want to or not if you're these young players. Man-to-man by Maryland now, and Duke's trying to get screens.
That's a brick, but look who's there. McLeod, pump fake. Can't get the shot to go down. Still loose. Stokes comes up with it. 2-on-1 Maryland. Behind the back to Akese.
Fast break by Maryland. They ran it well.
Under a minute to play in the first half. McLeod is fouled. Maryland's on a 10-2 run.
The jump shot missed, and Maryland, once the jump shot's missed and Duke mishandles, you see the Terps coming at you. Nice behind-the-back pass, and Akese, big finish.
And at the other end, a big foul because it's on Rodney Elliott, his 3rd personal. So Elliott has to go out. Booth comes back in.
Rodney off the bench with 3 fouls.
Makes the first. He has played a spectacular first half, Rashawn McLeod. 10 points, 6 rebounds.
Now it's 10-3 since that made foul shot, but shows you Maryland getting back in the game, trying to speed it up for the halftime.
McLeod hits them both, stops a 10-2 Maryland run. It's 31-29 Terrapins with 50 seconds to play first half. Booth left alone.
Well, he hasn't had a lot of looks, but when he's shot, it's made something happen.
Profit knocks it out of bounds.
That's one of the ways Maryland likes to trap. The Duke player going towards the corner, only concerned with the defender in front. Prophet coming from behind. He never saw him coming.
Now with 33 seconds to go in the half, Gary Williams is going to protect Booth, who has 2 personals. So he's going to put Watkins into the ball game now, the transfer from Notre Dame.
Good idea.
He comes in, gives him a little bit of height, a little bit of strength, and that way you protect your All-American.
But continue, if you were Maryland, to play the perimeter, because Duke would probably want a 3 to end this half if they can get it.
30 on the game clock, 25 on the shot clock. Mike Krzyzewski pulls him out. On the shot clock. Capel penetrates, has it blocked, and followed by McLeod. Air ball out of bounds. Maryland will have its last attempt.
Great defense by Maryland. Handoff, pass back, 2-man game with Duke out high. Capel given the authority to break it down and take it in the lane. What a block.
Now with 9.5 seconds left, Gary Williams comes back in with Booth as All-American to play offense, and Watkins goes back out. Mike Krzyzewski puts pressure on Stokes. 5 seconds. Stokes has to go to Akezi. And that'll do it.
Good half of basketball.
Maryland ends on a 10-4 run in the last 6 minutes of the first half. And the Terps lead by 4. We'll be back with our halftime activities right after this. The halftime statistics, Prophet got off to an 0 for 5 start, but he heated up. He's now got 7 points, and this is what's been taking place. No surprise with the shooting percentage. Both very good defensive ball clubs.
Good defensive ball clubs, but Maryland's doing a real good job on the 3. They're winning the 3 battle. Rebounds are tied. The turnover's not so bad when you have 7 and 8.5. That's not too bad.
But a game like this often decided at the line. Look at the free throws. Duke 5 of 6. Maryland continues to struggle. We'll be back with the second half right after this.
And Jefferson Pilot Sports' exclusive coverage of ACC basketball is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts, by Pizza Hut, and by Nationwide Insurance.
Just about set to begin the second half. Maryland leads Duke by 4, and Greg Newton injured in that first half. He sprained his ankle near the end, did not come back in, but we just watched him warm up, and he appears to be okay. And of course, if he does come back in, that'll give the guards some more looks. Some of the keys to the second half, Gil?
But Duke's got an advantage with its depth versus a tight rotation by Maryland. They want to pressure that basketball. They got to make their threes. They're only 2 of 12. I think Maryland can get a little more from the inside. They might want to look inside a little bit more, and Maryland must make foul shots in this second half.
I agree with that. That is the big difference in these close games. There's a look at Newton. He appears to be okay now. Injured that ankle, went down hard. Played only 10 minutes in the first half, 3 points, 5 rebounds, but he's okay now.
Maryland comes out pressuring the ball.
Maryland very rarely relinquishes a lead in the second half. As a matter of fact, they're 13-0 this year when leading at halftime. Here's Newton, and he sends a quick message with a turnaround. This is the guy that's been playing hard all day, McLeod. He's had the hot hand and now has 13 points.
Takes it right to the basket. His shot, the difference between what he did and Newton did. Newton shot a fall away inside. Big guy's got to go towards the rim.
2-point game, and I suspect, like so many have between these two clubs over the last couple of years, this one will come right down to the end as well.
And you see Duke, they're coming out higher on the ball. They're putting more pressure on the ball, playing closer to the guards.
Akezi will not take that shot out there.
And he's not a great passer, so he has to give the ball up. He's not going to make anything happen with the ball there.
This whistle away from the basketball, 3-second call, and a turnover for the Maryland Terrapins.
Duke pushes up on the ball, puts defense on the passers, and caused a 3-second turnover from Maryland.
So Maryland now has 9 turnovers in the ball game. That's their first in the second half. We're just underway, 19 minutes to play, and it's a 2-point game. McLeod pulls his way in. McLeod doesn't get the shot, and it's last touched by Jasikevičius.
Very off balance was McLeod on that shot. Gary Williams obviously wants charge or turnover. Mike Krzyzewski is happy with the play.
Wojo very cool with the ball. Up-tempo competitor. Price to Newton. Working on Akezi. The turn. And Booth with the rebound.
Well, they went to Newton twice. He shoots fallaways both times.
Nice pass to Yesicavicius by Booth. Oh, that was pretty.
Transition basketball is what Maryland plays so very well. And Keith Booth doing it all again.
Booth, 3 assists in the game. Wojo tries to pick up the tempo. Back to Wojo's got a shot and doesn't take it.
He's not looking to take those shots.
Now he does and drills it. Splash.
Maybe he should look to take the shot.
He took only 1 shot Tuesday night against State. He's got a nice 3-point shot. He just doesn't take it that often.
But what's interesting to hear everybody talk about how he's a team leader and he's doing it without taking shots because of how hard he worked in the offseason.
Stokes back to Booth.
3 seconds again. See Maryland in the transition, and a great pass by Keith Booth. A bounce pass from about 50 feet for a nice lay-in. That's a good play.
It's a call you don't see very often in this conference. 3 seconds, especially that quickly together. McKeezy must be camping there.
Well, obviously the same guy is making the same decision, and the referee is going to keep calling until he changes it. And it's McKeezy.
And there's another 3-second call. Called on Newton this time.
When McLeod was in the lane looking to shoot, and if you're a big guy like Newton, you're going to look to rebound. So when you fake that you're not going to get the shot, you get upset. Gary's congratulating one of the refs for calling that 3 seconds.
I'm not sure he was congratulating him. I thought he was going to draw a T.
Wade was congratulating him with verve.
His foul is on McLeod for holding Booth. That's his second. With verve, indeed.
But in talking to the refs, and I had a chance to talk just about how Gary Williams is when you see him animated. Oftentimes they tell me he's not complaining to them. He's talking about the play, so that's why he doesn't get teed up.
Left-hander by Akese, and now the foul by Newton.
We said Maryland might want to look inside. Akese had made some great plays in the first half, not to finish. Just as this time, he makes a good play, but he doesn't finish. The ball's down low. A little hook shot that's maybe a little softer than it needs to be, but he's quick back to the ball. You miss the hook shot, you go back to the ball, and then you go strong. Draw the foul. That's a good play.
Just the first against Newton. Akese 4 points, 5 rebounds, goes to the line. He's made only 43 of his 72 shots at the charity stripe. Makes that one.
If you continue to look inside in your Maryland, you're going to force Duke to foul you. That's why we said the key in the second half for Maryland would be making the foul shots that they get. They may get a lot of looks at the line. They've got to make the majority of it.
He's a fine student. This is the second one. He's in that special IBM program with very few students qualify for.
That's what you have to do. That's balance, athletics and academics. That's what it's supposed to be, with academics coming first.
Terrapins by 2. Kick it out to Wojciechowski. He's fouled by Stokes. Good pump fake, got Stokes in the air. Not much Terrell could do there. That'll be the first on Stokes.
And the only thing you want to do is make it perfect. Is when you pump fake, as you'll see, now you shoot the ball. Take your shot. You want to shoot it, so then you can get to the line. Just throw it up.
Under 17 minutes to play. That's for 3. Trajan Langdon.
2 threes made in the second half already by Duke. They only made 2 in the first half, the entire 20 minutes.
And Duke leads by 1. Yesicavicius is beyond the arc. Yes.
He didn't have a lot of looks in the first half.
Yesicavicius with 8 points. Langdon in the paint, kicks it out to McLeod. He bottoms it.
It's heating up now. Heating up now, both teams.
Tied at 39.
Duke coming out a little bit higher, trying to pressure Stokes.
Stokes gets caught in the paint. Maryland turns it over. Yesicavicius is fouled. I thought Duke had the turnover. They never got the handle.
Well, you try to pick it up instead of dive on it. Everybody's trying to pick this ball up. Unless you got really big hands or the ball has a handle, it's difficult to get it. You got to jump on that ball. Everybody's trying to reach down and pick it up. Very difficult to do.
That's Langdon's first personal, the team third. Good hustle by the Maryland Terrapins to get it back. Cabbages throws it away. Inside to Newton.
He's gotten 3 looks inside. I don't know how many more times they're going to go to him because he isn't converting. But he's getting the looks. He's 1 of 8 from the field.
Kesey takes it into paint and scores. Well, the big guy took it right at Newton that time. There's one of the most improved players in the Atlantic Coast Conference, if not the most improved.
Well, he's getting a chance to play, and Gary Williams is saying, I've got confidence in you. You got to do it for us. He's getting to do it.
Kesey with 7 points. Newton takes it right back at him. Can't put it down.
Almost a good move by Booth. He tried to turn baseline, but again, Maryland taking it down low.
Good hands by Langdon. 14:57 to play. We'll be back after this message from Bud Light. Conference basketball on the Raycom Sports and Jefferson Pilot Sports Network. Proud to present this game to you today. Maryland ranked 7th in the country. The Duke Blue Devils 10th. And they played up to expectations. It's been a close game. 41-39 is our score. Low-scoring game. Cabbages with a running shot. Last touch by Kesey, out of bounds. Good scoring balance for Maryland. Booth has 9. Sarunas has 8. Profit has 7. And Kesey has 7.
But Kesey head up against Newton. 7 points, 5 boards, 2 blocks. And Newton only 3 points, 5 rebounds, 1 of 9 from the field.
Duke does not have that same kind of balance. McLeod has most of the points. Here's Profit.
Tough shot.
Profit loses it going back up. He's had a tough time keeping a handle on that ball all day.
Very anxious. In fact, a little over anxious. But the steals are what the Maryland Terrapins want to get. Great hands to dislodge the ball and then get the ball. Now, he's 3 of 12 from the field, but he's making things happen.
.5 minutes to play in the game. Inside the Booth. Nice pass to Kesey. Takes it up strong. Outstanding backdoor by the Terrapins.
Well, they're getting it down low. We said they should, and they are.
Maryland by 4. Carrawell takes it up. Outlet pass to Booth.
That's a timeout play. Duke will want to slow him down.
It's a 9-2 Maryland run. Booth, the truth. We'll be back after this from Bell South. Shot clock is off. Down to 6 seconds. Booth with the ball. Baseline. Booth. Profit. It's going to be good. Maryland wins. LaRon Profit for 3. And the win last weekend over Wake Forest. A big win for the Maryland Terrapins. Right here, 45-39 Maryland.
Cable back in the ball game because Duke needs some stability with ball handling. Inside scoring 9-2 in this half, so Maryland has gotten it inside as we suggested they should.
Maryland with its largest lead. Carrawell takes it in with a kiss. Carrawell with a nice shot.
And only Wojo putting pressure on the ball by Duke. You would expect Duke to come up a little bit tighter on Maryland, denying the pass.
Cabbages fouled by Capel. That's his 3rd.
That's a big foul. Again, Capel put in because of all of his experience. He's trying to stop this drive and reaching over, trying to strip the ball from Cabbages. He was up in the position to shoot, so Maryland gets to the line.
And Cabbages rolls that one in. He's now hit 41 of his 53 free throw attempts this year. He's a pure shooter, one of the few really good, solid free throw shooters that Maryland has right now, and he makes them both. Maryland's biggest lead of the game, and Cabbages has 10 points.
And Maryland puts the pressure on the ball. They won't relent.
On the floor for Duke, Carrawell, Capel, Wojo, James, and Newton. Capel. Nice shot. Oh, Jeff Capel with a nice tough shot.
Put him in the game because he has experience. Starter as a freshman at Duke University. 4 years there. You could put him in the game because he won't be rattled by anything that's going on here.
Booth gets a look. Can't get it to go down. And they say last touch by Ikizi.
Well, this crowd didn't say that. This crowd said last touch by Newton.
I thought he did too.
But the crowd doesn't get the call. The crowd was saying something else totally different.
Wojo for three. And Elliott pulls the rebound and the foul on James.
James crashing the board. We talked about the board play, and Duke started off showing that they really were going to attack the board. In fact, they started Wallace because they needed extra rebounding. Both teams were tied at halftime rebounding, so Duke's conscious of what has to happen on the board.
Second on James, the 15 foul for Duke.
Wojo going to the bench.
Matt Kovarik doing the ball handling now for the Maryland Terrapins.
That's to give Stokes a chance to rest because he certainly can't stand the pressure the entire game.
If this is on James, he's picked up another quick ticky-tack foul, and that's three.
It's becoming important now, the foul situation. We talked about Maryland making their foul shots. With this foul situation 6-1, they'll soon be on the line again.
Yes, it cabbages. That's a two-pointer, and it's 49-43 Maryland.
Well, this becomes a very important offensive possession for Duke. They can't afford not to get something out of this.
Inside of Newton they go, and the foul will be on Ikizi. Maryland coaches felt coming in, if they could keep the Blue Devils off the free throw line and defend the threes, they'd be in pretty good shape.
Well, both is happening. Certainly 2 of 12 shooting in the first half. Not good three-point shooting by Duke. And they only went to the foul line 6 times, I believe.
Again, touched by Ikizi. 12:05 to play.
You know, if I'm Ikizi, I know he's trying to deny Newton the ball down low, but Newton's been shooting so poorly, I might want to make him show me he can make one as opposed to getting a foul.
Profit comes in. Yessa Cabbages goes out. Yessa Cabbages sits down with 12 points.
Tough place for a big man to have the ball on the sideline.
Carrawell. Oh, big rebound by Newton, and he takes it right back at him.
Tough play. He's playing hard.
Tough pass to Ikizi. That's a good catch for a big man.
Good catch, but you don't want to put him in that position. He doesn't handle the ball well enough to be in that position.
Cross-court pass to Booth, and now Booth says, let's settle down and use the clock.
A good play by Ikizi not to try something that he can't do.
And outstanding leadership by the senior Booth. Shot clock now down to 10. They're going to have to go with it. Shot clock at 5. Booth. And Newton with the rebound.
Newton's rebound. He just can't get the shots to fall, but he's playing hard.
That wasn't the shot Maryland wanted at one end. Gives a pretty good opportunity here for the Blue Devils.
You know, Langdon hadn't been open for many jumpers today.
Oh, nice move by Capel over to Newton, and the conversion. And the foul by Booth, that'll be his third. That becomes huge.
Well, and we said Capel was put in there to settle this club down. Takes a good baseline move, draws the defense his way. Anytime you can take the baseline, you make good things happen. 2 guys come to him. He knows Newton's open, and finally for Greg Newton, he gets something to fall. Good first step by Capel. Nice pass. Nice finish for Greg Newton.
So Keith Booth now with 3 personal fouls with 10:55 to play in the game.
That could become significant. If you're Gary Williams, or you leave him in, you take him out. I think you got to leave him in for a little while longer.
It'll be Maryland basketball.
Some people can play with fouls, some people can't. You would think that a senior understands his foul situation and will be prudent in what he does.
Maryland by 4. Booth in the paint to Elliott. Elliott has been sensational over the last 3 games. The announcers for this game selected and compensated by Raycom and Jefferson Pilot Sports. Any use of this broadcast without their express permission is prohibited. McLeod walks.
They call the walk. McLeod feels he put the ball on the floor. So does Mike Krzyzewski.
Take a look at it.
McLeod gives the head fake. Has a head fake. Does he move both feet? I don't know. He's putting it down. He's putting it down.
He had the left pivot foot planted.
He put the ball on the floor before he made the movement.
That left foot was like it was nailed. Here's Elliott. Stokes gets triple team.
And Duke has to up-tempo the defense a bit. So we'll see Maryland going to the line.
This is interesting. They have Booth at the top playing the point. Nice pass to Elliott, and Elliott is fouled.
And we see why. Booth at the top playing the point, Tim, will force one of Duke's bigger guys to come out. And this is good ball handling by Booth, taking it right down in the paint, drawing 3 people, passing off. Elliott doesn't get the dunk. Nice, good look inside.
Mike Krzyzewski will put a stop to that mismatch in a hurry. Wojciechowski jumps back into the ball game. I mean, Coach K just pulled him off of the bench. Elliott at the line with 9 points, 4 rebounds.
I think he told Wojciechowski Wojo's got to shoot the ball a little bit too.
Elliott rolls it in, double figures. He averages just 9.7 rebounds.
And the foul shooting in this half for the Terrapins pretty good.
Maryland 5 of 6 at the line this half. Terrapins have their largest lead, 53-45.
Duke's going to have to speed the tempo up offensively, and they probably don't want to do that. Under 10 minutes, they got to start thinking about speeding it up.
Nice pump fake by Langdon. Had to adjust. Here's the man that's been scoring, McLeod. What a game he's having.
Been scoring, still scoring.
He has 17 points, McLeod, and he only averages 11.
Well, we said his name wasn't called that much, or he's not talked about that much in relationship to his other teammates, but maybe after today he will be.
Yes. Easy with the drop step, then overpasses.
What's the call? No call? Tough call. Wojciechowski coming at Booth after Kesey makes a great spin move down low. Doesn't get the shot. One pass too many. And Wojciechowski and Booth collide there. Duke keeps the ball.
It is fun to watch these two coaches work the officials. At one end, Gary Williams was working Rick Hartzell. This is for 3 as Wallace comes in. The other end, Coach K is working on Zelton Steed. Now with that 3-pointer, there's a timeout taken with 9:05 to go, and it's a 3-point game. Well, Advance Auto Parts, proud to be a corporate donor to the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation. Over the past few months, Advance Auto Parts stores throughout the southeastern region of the United States have raised over $600,000 to fight the disease. Advance Auto Parts and the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation together walking for the cure.
You have both teams now trying to get their games on. Wallace makes another 3 for Duke, a big 3. He needed to make it. Duke with 2 of 12 in the first half from threes. They had 3 of 4 here in the second half. We talked about them hitting their threes. They're starting to do so. Maryland had been getting good looks down inside. We talked about that. They were doing so. Now it's whether or not the pressure can be applied to the basketball by Duke to force some turnovers for Maryland.
Sarunas Yesikavicius checks back in for Maryland. And Kesey's on the bench. This is Profit, and that's a blocking foul against Duke, and it's called on Carmen Wallace. That's his 3rd.
And that's big because Wallace has made 2 of the 5 threes made by Duke. But Profit is so quick. I like the way he gets into his action. You know, you talk about players, baseball, football players who are full speed after the first step. Profit is a basketball player that is full speed after his first step and dribble. He's going to the basket hard.
Profit makes the first one. He hit that buzzer beater last week to beat Duke, or to beat Wake rather. 15 steals in the last 5 games, and here today 8 points and 5 rebounds.
And what about the job on the line done by Maryland here in the second half?
Sounds like a library in here as he shoots the second one, now with 9 points. Matt Kovarik checks back into the ball game for Booth. Booth with 3 personals. I guess the Maryland coaching staff is going to try to protect him as much as possible under 9 minutes to play.
Well, you got a 5-point lead, and so you can take him out for maybe 1 or 2 possessions, and you hope your team can keep the distance while he sits down.
Lang a little bit out of control, but gets it to Wallace. Shot blocked by Profit.
Great play. Great defensive play.
Profit again loses the handle, but he's fouled.
And Stokes is saying, hey, LeRon, I'm in the corner. Let's start our play. But what a great defensive play by LeRon Profit. This is nothing but timing. You time it, and you block with the out hand. Don't cross your body. Watch as he blocks with the out hand. He doesn't cross his body. That's the right hand to block with, and then you get the ball after the block. You can't ask for a better defensive play than that.
So Profit goes to the line again. Wojciechowski picks up his 3rd personal. You look at foul trouble. You've got Wojo with 3, Wallace with 3, James with 3, Capel with 3. And Profit is profitable on that one.
Well, I thought we'd have to invest in this game. We got a profit and a price.
Terrapins by 6. Misses that one, so he's 3 for 4 from the line with 10 points.
When does Duke start to rush? They aren't doing it yet.
McLeod. Yes!
Serious.
Oh, McLeod, what a ball game he's having.
His name will be known now.
Rashawn McLeod with 20 for the Blue Devils.
He's been the show, the entire show.
He makes it a 3-point game. Elliott. And they say he walked.
You talk about great recovered defense. Elliott looked to be wide open. Once he caught the ball, there were 3 Duke Blue Devils around him. Great D.
Blue Devils making a run.
Capel's in the game again when they do so. They have to steady everything down.
Elliott locks on McLeod, so they go the other way, and Capel drains it.
Steadies everything down and makes the jumper 2.
Tied at 56. It's an 11-3 run by Duke. Seven and a half to play. You look underneath, this foul is on Booth.
Pushing off.
And that's 4.
Clearing out to catch the ball.
This ball game right now taking a significant change. It's an 11-3 run for Duke. Booth has 4 personals. 7.5 to play. We're tied at 56. We'll be back after this message from Budweiser. For the Blue Devils coming on strong with an 11-3 run. Booth now has 4 personals.
The shooting has really changed. You had a 2 for 12 shooting. 3s in the first half, and you see Capel and Langdon, career leaders, are getting up on that list for Duke, and they've come on strong. Duke 5 of 6 here in the second half from 3s.
But you know, it's not those 2. The significant player has been McLeod with 20 points. He's 8 of 14 from the field. A double Wojo. Mike Krzyzewski wanted the foul, no call.
Successfully, they doubled the Wojo turn. Profit, really sneaky. He's the second guy that comes in and kind of just takes care of the ball. Once someone turns you, he's there to steal it. Now Kesey's back in the ball game. We wonder if Maryland will look to him a little bit more inside.
Profit kicks it out to Jasikevičius. He drills it. So Sarunas Jasikevičius has 18 points.
1 of 6 in the first half, so obviously he's getting the looks here in the second half.
Here's McLeod in the paint with pump fake and puts it down. 22 points for McLeod. 6.5 minutes to play.
McLeod is a ray of sunshine for Duke.
Good, tough defense by the Blue Devils.
And Maryland showing patience.
Stokes took a timeout. I'm not sure he had to. The ball was actually touched by Langdon. That would not have been backcourt. He called timeout in the air, so Maryland takes a 20. Well, ACC action continues. Tuesday night, NC State against the Cavaliers of Virginia. Cavaliers strong. NC State still trying to get over the hump, trying to find a scorer, trying to find a closer. They've been close in so many. Now they take on the Cavaliers of Virginia. Courtney Alexander, Dean, and the boys down in Charlottesville, Virginia.
You know, maybe the ball was touched, but not taking a chance and calling the timeout. But the problem began with having the ball in Kesey's hands out on the wing. We've talked about that 3 times today that it's happened. That's not the best position to put him in, nor to put your team in. He shouldn't have to touch it out there.
Maryland by 1 as we go down to the 6-minute mark.
Booth is back.
Stokes, does he dribble into trouble? Yes, turns it over. Nice pass to Wallace. Oh, what a pass. And goaltending by Profit.
5:53 to go, and Booth is back. Now, Stokes dribbled into traffic, too many Duke players, and Capel again, part of something positive for Duke. Wallace puts it up, Profit takes it off the backboard.
Now, Kesey out of the ball game, and it looks like he's injured. They're working on him on the bench. Wojo with the turnover, and Langdon is fouled by Stokes.
And Maryland being very careless with the basketball. 2 times down, 2 turnovers.
And it's gotten awfully quiet in Cole Fieldhouse. They can feel how the game has changed.
This will be Maryland's 15th turnover coming up. A weak pass down inside. Wojciechowski again getting the steal and going strong to the basket is Langdon. Duke's got 15 points off these 15 turnovers and now 16 points off the Maryland TOs.
Langdon's a 90% free throw shooter. He's hit 54 of his 60 attempts this year. And I mean, he's clean.
Well, it's playing out in the second half as we said it would, only we're not seeing the inside looks from Maryland like we thought we'd get. We saw it early in the second half, but not much here now in the second half.
They continue to work on the leg of Kesey. He's hurt. Yes, it Cabbages to Booth. They called this foul, I believe, on Langdon. That's his second.
Well, they got it inside the Booth post enough, and as you see him trying to get Kesey straight so they can get him back in the ballgame. Looks as if it may be his left thigh, right above his knee. Maybe it was bumped. But they need him in the game. They need his inside presence.
That's J.J. Bush, the trainer for the Maryland team, working on that leg, as you said, right above the knee.
Keith's on the foul line. These become important.
And he gets the roll. Now, that was the 10th team foul, so Maryland will be shooting 2 every trip. For Booth, that's 12.7 rebounds and 5 assists.
Kind rim that time for Keith Booth.
Soft touch made it stay up that long. Tickles the twine on that one, and it's a 1-point game.
Here's the pressure.
Wojo handles the pressure pretty well.
Well, I think they just want to force him. They try to tire him out. He got a little rest in the first half. It was important so he can play the entire second half.
Good penetration by Wojo. He's fouled by Stokes. That's 3 on Stokes.
Duke bench really wants another goaltend call if they can get it.
It's been a physical game.
Wojo's deciding to take it offensively upon himself. He's been passing up shots. Draws a foul. Probably needs to be a little more aggressive offensively for his club.
With the Kesey out, Mike Krzyzewski getting Newton a pretty good rest. Wojciechowski at the line for the year, 81%.
One of those guys that just steps up, doesn't matter when. Shoots 81%, but bet he shoots 91% this time of a ball game.
Playing back here in his neighborhood, just down the road in Severna Park. He has 4 points, 4 assists.
Kesey back on the floor now for Maryland, and see if they look to him early down low.
McLeod looks over to Coach K, see if in fact he's going to be on the Kesey. He is.
Kesey's playing out on the wing. He's piece to the top of your screen.
Duke by 3. 5 minutes to play. They double down on Booth. Back out to Stokes, left alone. 3.
Very confident with that shot.
We're tied at 64.
The crowd's in it.
That shot brings them back to their feet at Cole.
Haven't heard much from Langdon today.
Wojo calls out the offense, sets the shot clock. It's down to 10. Capel, yes!
He's been there before. Made big shots before.
Capel has 7 points. He's been fairly quiet, but that was a big hit.
He's made every big play to keep his team in the game.
Profit! What a pass from Sarunas Jasikevičius. Oh, this is fun.
This is how he would play. It gets the crowd going.
Tied at 66.
Good patience by Duke on offense.
3:47 to play in the game. Timeout to do some business. It's Super Sunday, and Profit has them tied. They're rocking in Cole Fieldhouse, one of the great old buildings for college basketball in the country. Number 7, Maryland. Number 10, Duke. Tied at 66. 3:47 to play. Duke has 1 full timeout left, 2 20s. Maryland 2 full timeouts and no 20s.
Duke's made 8 of its last 9 shots. They're heating up at the right time. 58% in the second half. They only shot 32% in the first.
Every trip now is critical for both clubs. Profit with a rebound.
Probably not the exact shot you wanted for Duke. You don't want Booth to get his offensive foul. Maryland taking their time, throwing it back out will play some good half-court offense.
Jasikevičius alley-oop. Oh, the Profit! Do you believe it?
Oh, my goodness. Over the rim, playing in the sky.
Profit with 14. Maryland by 2.
That brought a smile on Booth's face.
That's a highlight. Capel fouled. And I believe this foul is on Profit.
This is great timing and athletic ability. You put the two together and you get beauty. That is over the rim. Great place to play basketball.
For a select few.
Yeah, everybody can't do it, but that's a great place to play. They talk about different levels of basketball. High school ball is played under the rim. This level of college ball is played over the rim.
Foul was on Akizi, not Profit, so that is the 3rd on Akizi. And Capel misses a foul shot. Do you believe it?
And Profit and Jasikevičius go up to congratulate him right in his face.
Very quickly, Zelton Steed goes over to both players from Maryland and say, I don't want that. Mike Krzyzewski complaining about it.
He said it's taunting. Call a taunting foul.
Capel makes the second one. Maryland by 1.
Coach is working hard as the players.
Both coaches are. Fun to watch these two. 2 good ones. Down to Akizi.
Good double. Good double inside on the baseline because Akizi's been turning baseline.
They give it right back to Akizi. Kicks it out to Profit over to Booth. Booth wants to take Newton and gives it back to Akizi, and he walks.
Akizi not prepared for the pass. Good play by Booth. Akizi just not prepared. In fact, when they threw it down to Akizi with 2 guys on him, I thought he made a good play to pass it out and not get a turnover there.
16 turnovers for the Maryland Terrapins. 2:20 left to play. Maryland by 1.
Langdon's going to call the play himself. He's going to run it. Probably call it for himself.
This is reminiscent of the game played here when Price hit the shot at the buzzer to win it for Duke. Wojo penetrates. He's got to let it go for the shot clock.
Got a little man in big man territory, Tim. Nowhere to go. All dressed up and nowhere to go.
Under 2 minutes to play.
Still want to get your look inside if you have it, if you're Maryland.
Duke extends its defense. Booth takes a timeout. He was in trouble. Good defense by Rashawn McLeod, who, by the way, has played a marvelous game for the Blue Devils.
Excellent game. He's played offensively and smart basketball.
This is a full timeout for the Terrapins. 1:28 left to play. Maryland by 1. How about it? Through the ACC archives, these two have been in tight-fit games before. The unforgettable 1980 ACC Tournament Championship comes to mind. The final shot by Albert King off the rim. Was Buck Williams undercut? Bottom right of the screen. Never called. Duke comes away winning 73-72 and taking the championship in the ACC Tournament. Greg Manning played in that game. What a player he was here for the University of Maryland. Still holds the free throw shooting percentage record for the Terrapins. Outstanding shooter. Doing the radio broadcast.
Maryland calls a timeout. They've only got 1 timeout left. They have no 20s. There's 1:28 to go. That may become a factor. Duke with 1 full timeout and 2 20s. One of the reasons the timeout was called, again, you had Akizi out on the wing and Booth having the ball. There was nowhere to maneuver. All the space was taken up. I'd like to see, and I'm sure Gary Williams wants to see Akizi establish his low post position and stop going so far away from the basket.
Maryland has 11 seconds to shoot. Booth. Strong move, banks it in, and is fouled.
The big-time players make big-time plays. Booth is called on to do it for his club. Up and under, draw the foul, get the bucket. That's what he's asked to do. That's why he's the leader of this team. Takes his time, nice look at the basket, step under, get the contact, and get the hoop. That's a big play.
Keith Booth with 15 points. McLeod picks up his 3rd personal. Booth misses the free throw.
You can tell his feet left. He left the line a little too soon. He was too tense when he shot it.
Maryland by 3, 1:15 to play.
Maryland has to defend the 3-point shot.
Capel fouled by Yasikavicius.
Now, you don't know if that's a bad play or a good play. Kavarik hits Capel taking it to the baseline, but Capel stepped up and missed his first foul shot the last time at the line.
That is the first personal Yasikavicius. Matt Kavarik goes out of the ball game. Possession arrow belongs to Maryland. You see the timeouts remaining at both. Capel at the line. Down by 3. Capel 1 for 2 at the strike today. He has 8 points. Misses it.
So it's a good foul.
And Wojo fouls Stokes. Now, Stokes is not a good free throw shooter. That's the 4th on Wojo, but they'll put Terrell Stokes at the line, the sophomore from Philadelphia, and he's hit 41 of his 69 attempts this year. That's it.
Did not go to the line at all in the first half. And we talked about foul shooting, and obviously Duke scouts the teams that they're going to play. They know Maryland very well. They know that the foul shots are not one of the strengths of the Terrapins, so they're going to put them on the line.
Elliott comes back in. Booth goes out. Stokes 6 points, 6 assists. But as you said, his first trip to the stripe today. If there's a weakness in his game, this is it.
Nice. Big shot. You know what makes that shot difficult? His style, throwing the ball in the air, spinning it around, catching it. You know, you want quiet in your shot when you shoot foul shots. You don't want a lot of movement.
Makes them both. Maryland by 5 as we go under a minute. Capel from way outside for 3. Oh, wow. Jeff Capel from in front of the bench.
In the corner, off balance, up and in. I mean,
that is sweet.
We talked about why he's in the ball game, to steady his team down, to make a big play. You'll see him. There's not a lot of room left in that corner. He doesn't have many places to go but out of bounds. Great arc, and it's in. He's done it before, and to come off the bench and do it again in a game like this says something about Jeff Capel.
Capel with 11 points, 9 in the second half.
Nervous? Big game? What are you talking about? Just a jump shot, just like practice.
Take a look at the MVPs for the game. Food Line MVPs, Rashawn McLeod, spectacular game. 22 points, 10 rebounds here this afternoon. Yesikavicius, 15 points, 4 assists for Maryland, including 2 brilliant passes to Prophet on the alley-oop.
Thing about Yesikavicius, he was 1 of 6 in the first half. So he's really turned it around here in the second half. And without his scoring, I mean, if he's continuing to shoot as he did in the first half, his team's in big trouble. They needed his offense because Booth with the foul, you didn't know how often Booth was in the game and out of the game. So Rudy really did a good job.
72-70. Maryland with 54.1 seconds to play.
And I certainly wasn't dissing McLeod, because when you talk about Duke and you talk about the names of the players that stand out, his doesn't come to mind first. But after today's game, when you think about Duke, you're going to have to think about McLeod, because he is definitely a contributor to that club's success.
Well, we said at the beginning of the game there's a March Madness feel in Cole Fieldhouse. There certainly has been. And now there's almost an eerie silence. There's a lot of tension here for Maryland fans. Up by 2. Stokes on Wojo. To Prophet.
They're moving Ikezi out of the way of the offense.
Shot clock at 16. Look inside. Shot clock down to 11. They've got to go with it. Lost out of bounds. Last touch by McLeod. He may have jammed a finger. McLeod, a little bit of pain.
Well, he won't come out of the game, but he wants to continue to play.
7 on the shot clock. They've got to get this off. Yesikavicius. Tough shot. Blocked down. McLeod with a rebound.
Now Duke has to execute.
Maryland by 2 with 15 seconds left. Timeout by Duke. Gary Williams still up yelling at the officials. He wanted goaltending on Yesikavicius' shot.
I think it's a little low. I think if it wasn't blocked, it wasn't going to go anyway. It was under the basket. Yesikavicius tries to get there. Is that a goaltend or is it not?
Awfully close. .4 seconds left. Maryland with 1 timeout left. Duke out of timeouts. Duke has 1:20 left, but no full timeouts. Maryland 1 full, no 20s. Possession arrow belongs to Maryland. And the Terps lead by 2.
You play for the tie on the road. You play for the win at home. Duke can get a 2-pointer, and it's just as good as trying to win it with the 3.
Here we go. What a finish to the beginning of Super Sunday. Wojo. Capel's had the hot hand second half. Wojciechowski, offensive foul. That's 5 on Wojo. He's gone.
Trying to make it happen. We said a 2 would be okay. Wojo knew that also, but out of control, going down the baseline.
Timeout, Maryland. You see the time left in the game.
Just out of control, left his feet, and a good defensive play by Maryland to force the turnover from Duke. Not the kind of shot that the Devils wanted to get with the last possession that they may have of the game.
This building is shaking. Wojo with the offensive foul, and Maryland just has to get the ball in bounds.
Getting it in bounds is not a guarantee, and there'll be an immediate foul committed by Duke when the ball gets in bounds. Again, Maryland will have to stand the test of the foul line. They will be put there once more.
Maryland has no timeouts left. Duke still has a 20. Booth has to be stationary. He can't move, bringing it in. Ahead to Prophet. He's fouled by Wallace. How close that was. He almost lost it to Langdon.
Trying to go behind his back or trying to avoid the defense with the behind-the-back dribble. That's a very dangerous situation to put yourself in.
Now, because of the team fouls, he'll be shooting 2. If he hits them both, this game's over.
Well, we knew an immediate foul, and there it is. So the foul line will be the test.
Ron Prophet, 14 points, 3 of 4 at the line today. Maryland leads by 2. Maryland leads by 3 with 0.9 seconds left. Prophet nails it. It's over. Maryland. Terps go to 17-2. The Blue Devils go to 15-5. We'll be back after this message from